Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident Podcast, a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. Welcome to our co-host, Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza Podcast, where culture, conversation, and connection meet. He brings a sharp insight, humor, and global perspective to every conversation, always ready to dig deep and keep it real. Sambaza adds the perfect balance of thought and energy to our show. Welcome.
Hey Jen, how you doing today? Sorry.
Welcome. Yeah, doing good.
Yeah, it's another day, another dollar. Well, I can't say another dollar because another week we're not getting paid.
True.
But
True.
woo, Kenya in the house.
Yes, we're getting into some interesting conversations today, so we definitely want to tap into your perspective as an immigrant in this country, and in light of this conversation, we'll be getting into, and this is our pre-introduction. Um, ICE has been in the spotlight heavily due to record detention numbers, aggressive enforcement operations, and recent fatal shootings that have sparked nationwide protests and renewed fear in immigrant communities and just really all the communities. A lot of people are really concerned, especially the deaths of Keith Porter and Renee Good, countless others. So, yeah, we'll be talking about ICE today.
Yeah, that's a hot topic.
It
Considering that,
is.
yeah, this is one of those organizations that was very quiet. But before we get into all that, how's everyone doing? I'm great. I'm getting ready to go over to Orlando tomorrow and do my picture kucha. If I get recorded, I'll bring it over and see it. But like I always say, Mama, I made it. So we are showing up on YouTube, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Facebook, or wherever you're viewing us. And I see Betty has joined in. Thank you, Betty. And my friend Liavule is joined in on TikTok. So we have quite a number of people joining in also on our other channels here. So welcome to the show. So Jen, as we start, I think we're going to start with the affirmation, right?
Yes, that'd be great.
Affirmation of the day says, I am a problem solver and always find the best solution. I am a problem solver and always find the best solution.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. We definitely receive the affirmation. We definitely want to continue sharing positive affirmations to promote positive mental health behaviors in light of this topic. So we definitely receive that. And good luck to you and safe travels on your way to Podfest.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yet another time. This is the second time around.
Mhm.
I think yeah, I'm ready for some fun. Some,
Good.
well, not really some time off because I'm still work, and you're still running up and down. So it's still a busy time, but looking forward to meeting my new friends who are out there.
You'll be hitting the stage speaking. So this is exciting.
Yeah, 5 minutes, 20 slides that I have to roll through, and
Mhm.
yeah, have a conversation that I'll talk about over there.
Good. All right. Well, best of luck to
Next week
Sambaza.
you should be joining us.
Oh, I have to put that on my put that on the list.
Yep, manifest.
Yeah.
No, we don't have any. We don't have afros and audio. Maybe we'll probably have afros and audio. I think we. But Mark has that podcasting show of his that comes on. That not show, but the
Conference.
conference. So that could be one of the things that we could probably try this year.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
All right. All right. Now the African proverb.
Okay.
We've won. I haven't traveled though. I've been searching over the web for this African proverb. It says, "A fool has something to say." No, a fool has to say something. A wise man has something to say. You got it?
Ooh, okay.
Fool has to say something. A wise man has something to say.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a difference. So I like that.
Okay. And what do you think about the proverb? And how do you? Uh,
Well, yeah. So, like I said, first thought, with a full having the need and feeling that they have to say something is just that shows that um, maybe insecurity, or maybe they're not as sure of themselves as they think. And so, a wise person, people may want to lean into a wise person, where, the other way around with a fool. But I don't know, just first thought.
oh no, that's great. I was veering towards the same thing. Like some things don't need to be said, whereas if it needs to be said, then there's a problem.
Okay.
So uh, being as it is from a wise man, a wise man has something to say if it's got to be said. You know,
Hmm.
he is giving you gems. But the other part where just have to say it, no, some things are not worth saying. Just let it go.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. Thank you for sharing that. And I guess at this time, we will go ahead and introduce our topic formally. So, in this episode, we're talking about ICE, immigration, and customs enforcement, and what it means to live in America when immigration agents can show up to your job, your home, or your neighborhood. In the last few recent weeks, ICE detention has hit record highs, and thousands of officers have been deployed in what officials are calling the largest immigration operation ever, with a heavy focus on communities of color in cities like Minneapolis and Los Angeles. Other cities, have been impacted with occurrences. I think Detroit has some issues. So a lot of cities have been impacted. So, whether you are a U.S. citizen who doesn't think this affects you at all, or you're an immigrant living with papers, documentation, or someone undocumented trying to stay off the radar, ICE has become a symbol of fear, power, and policy gone too far. So, today we're breaking down what ICE is, and kind of giving what's happening right now and why people are so concerned from an American perspective. And then also, we'll have some insight from Sambaza, who is an immigrant. So, yeah, thank you.
Well, Jen, this has been something that's been going on. I've kept quiet about it. I don't talk about it online, usually because of the fact that, you know, the political views nowadays,
Right.
you put in your political view and you could be followed up on it. And like I said, most of the time when we come, the disclaimer right now is that this is just me. It's not a representation of where I work or the people I work for. So my views are just mine. You can't put them on my employer at this time because they're not aware of it and they shouldn't be, and it's not got nothing to do with them. It's something that's personal. So with that being said, um, why it matters is because right now well, here's my thing. When the last 20 plus years that I've been here, ICE
Mhm.
has been the last resort or the last thing that will get you out of the country. Now, when
Okay.
police police arrest you, they usually, actually, this is how, let me take it back. Back in the day, in the around 2000, there was this thing about ICE and the police, the federal and ICE. ICE was a totally different department. So people would commit crime and they would not bring it together with ICE. The databases were different. So they did not streamline the database. So a lot of things would go along with people doing all sorts of things, and ICE would not catch on to it.
Mhm.
They were mostly on border patrol and stuff like that. So when you're entering the country, they're the ones who look into your status and what have you. And maybe if they see there's something going on, they come for you from the status. Well, now, how it's come up through time is databases have been linked together, so they all share the same database from the police all the way to ICE.
Mhm.
So the involved to be is when something happens, it gets into your system, it's flagged, Once it's flagged that you are having something to do with ICE, let's say you're out of papers as an immigrant, then you're going to be taken to your police station. Then after that, ICE shows up and they go ahead and process your papers. If you're not legal, then they take you home. So that's been
Okay.
the usual thing that happens when you're caught with ICE over the years or
Mhm.
coming up to now. Now, starting the beginning of this year, they have been weaponized to where you see them going out into the streets and actively looking for people. It was not
Right.
they the way it was looked at with the arrangement was the police come after you because they're your local people. You've committed a crime, you're out of status, they'll come after you. Or if it's something really, really bad, like it's federal. Now here's where it comes. Because we've had some Kenyans, that's not everybody, but Kenyans and other people who have committed crimes as we've grown.
Mhm.
It's usually this federal stuff. So when the federal people come and arrest you, next thing they'll be together with ICE, because that's usually the most dangerous thing that they would be looked they would look at and come after you. So these crimes is what they're after. That used to be the basis. The thing of going out of status was nothing that they hunt you for. That is something that they'd probably get you on. When you do some offenses, then it starts flagging you, then gets flagged back to the system.
Mhm.
Chances are it never work. So now you have this group of people who are behind the scenes, because it was always the law enforcement, local law enforcement, and the federal. Then now they come in on the back end. Now they
Mhm.
have come onto the forefront, where now we see them around. And like somebody said, your tags say border patrol. You're supposed to be on the border. How are you border patrol and you're somewhere in the middle of the U.S. when you should be on the border? That's the reason why you were told you're
Mhm.
border. Um, so it throws off the mind, and this is where we're currently at.
It's changed like significantly the
Right.
practices. Yeah.
And the way the administration had told the people that we're going to take away the people who are doing bad things. It it's not the same. Things are changed to where you could be picked up on the streets and that's it. They would hustle you and shake you off, and it's really intimidating. uh,
Right.
I can tell you as an immigrant and somebody who has that. Okay, being called an N-word, if you're an African American and you get called an N-word, the way it feels, like if a white person calls you the N-word, the way it feels is the same way an immigrant feels when you have paperwork to be in a country and then somebody else tries to check you to see if you're otherwise, and especially shake you down. You know,
Okay.
that's the same. I can equate that as the same experience. Um, and it really hurts because
Now, has someone ever questioned your status? Really?
no, because
Okay.
for me, I've been fortunate enough. I haven't encountered any of those experiences, and
Mhm.
whenever now, for some odd and strange reason, I've never. This is the one time that I've ever encountered some. But this was even not even an ice thing. I was
Mhm.
driving down the street, and somewhere in Dallas, and not even Dallas. It was out of Dallas. A small, not even a small. It wasn't a small city. It was just a regular city. And there were cops. Uh,
Mhm.
I think they were looking for somebody who was passing, may have been coming through the same way like we have in Africa. And granted that they were searching, they just asked me for my driver's license. I gave it to them, didn't pay no mind, and then walked off. But these were your regular police officers. It was not ICE. It
But
was
they
not,
made some comment or reference to you
not,
being from
not
another country, or
They just looked at my ID and then gave it
okay.
to me and walked away. So you
Okay.
see, that's an encounter that you have, which is purely on the perspective of, yeah, you have your rights and they respect you. They were just looking for something and left
Mhm.
you. But see, when it's now targeted, like now you're being asked because of your color, because you
Okay.
cannot know me. You cannot know if I'm an African until one, I play my music in my car. Two, you ask me a question, and then I say something back to you. And if I've not stayed here for long, or there's that the the accent will come out. You know,
Exactly. I think we made that point on some other shows that yeah, they're not going to know that you're from another country until they, listen and hear you speak potentially.
right.
Mm,
So that's the one thing that makes a difference. So this is where now ice has become a weapon instead of something that some a group that's supposed to facilitate the the rest of the the rest of the law enforcement in making sure whether you're in here legally or not.
right.
So at the border entry, airport, bus entrances, anywhere where you come in via transport, that's where they should be. And
Right.
if
And
you
I
that's
see, to go along with what you just mentioned, that I read that there are two branches of ICE. Okay. One is the ERO, enforcement and removal operations, and they handle the arrest, detention, deportations, and homeland security matters. Oh, and then the other one is the homeland security, which is like the fraud, the trafficking, and the cross border crime. Is that
Mhm.
okay?
So see now you've gotten those two spots, and basically, in my experience, what they do is even with the Kenyans, it's hefty because you pay at least 15,000 for the lawyer,
Hmm.
and after
Right.
15,000 usually gone, and equivalent of at least a million plus Kenya shillings for that. And we used to get times when people would be caught up, and you'd have to, not you'd have to, but they'd ask you to help somebody out, and we would go put in some money for them. They'd get out of court, and maybe they have status. They'll go to court and stuff like that. It'll be
Hmm.
processed. They'll be in the country for at least a year or two before they finally come down on them. The case comes in, and they say, you know what, we're done. You're going to go, and it's not violent. This is just something that they've done, and you're out of status. That's all.
Hmm.
You lose your money first of all. Two, uh, you just get sent home, and they send you to a processing center. Nothing much. It's just a quiet processing center, and I know one here in Dallas. It's in Euless. Actually, they take you out of town,
Hmm.
like about 2 or 3 hours away. And then once you're done and you're ready for processing, they bring you here to Euless, which is about 2, 3 minutes from, not two, maybe about 5, 10 minutes from the airport. And that's where they process you and let you go. But it's really a quiet process that they don't do much about it. No hula baloo. But right now is just a whole lot of hula baloo around the process and how it's done.
Hmm.
Then you got the Alcatraz, stuff like that. There's so much on this to talk about that sometimes I just sit and wonder where to start and where to end.
Well, and so I'm glad you share that, but I do want to, kind of keep this on a high level just for people maybe like, oh, I don't think this involves me. I don't think this is important, but it is, it is important and you should be informed of these things. And then there's a section that we have planned of what to know if you happen to encounter that you're going to get into that I really, want people to kind of be aware of that.
And also, I think I mentioned this. There's this birthright status that is
Hmm.
they're trying to take off now. When they take off the birthright status, that means anyone who's born here has to prove that they're born here. Otherwise, you have to go into records and show exactly how you were born here. Now, I'm gonna put it. You said, Jen, you said you're born here, and let's say you're stopped, and they say, where are your papers? Where's your dad
Right.
from? If they can trace the lineage, then
Hmm.
they say you're from Africa. Fine, they can send you back to Africa. Like the way we say our DNA, we go say, oh, there's a highly likelihood that you are from Ghana, or the high likelihood
Okay.
from Sierra Leone. There's a Okay, now that's where it comes to play. So all these people who have done their genealogy and what have you, well, hey, If that information comes out and it's backed up in the system, these Dodge people have ways of getting around through anywhere. And so if they get that, and then if they want to say you haven't, say you're agitating in the country, and they want to get rid of you,
Mm.
what's the first thing that where you from? Oh, I'm born here. No, but your lineage does not show you're born here. Birthright does not guarantee that. Yes, you have that, and that's why it went all the way back. And it might sound crazy, but if you go online to Bakari Sellers
Mhm.
podcast, look for him. He talks about it intensively. I'm just touching a little bit on it.
Mhm.
And yeah, how are you going to prove where you are? And the guys can pick you up and choose and say,
And you're
yeah,
not just saying like where you were born, but like where your parents were
right
born
now it's
from.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's like some of these people who are brought in from Mexico. They were brought in when they were young. They have no idea. But then it's your parents who say, "Oh, wait, no! If you're born here, not the ones who are brought in, the ones who
Mhm.
are born here. You're born here. Your parents have no status, but they were born from another country. But then you have the status because you're born here.
Mhm.
You only know this place.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, somebody tells you where your parents from. Oh, you say, "Oh, they're from Kenya. All right, Kenya it is. You're going."
Mm.
But you do have your paperwork. So now, what makes the difference between you and I, Jen? You have a whole lineage of people that go way back, but the records do show. Because hey, one thing I know is records show a lot about where you're from. You can read
Right.
through lineage, and if they do that, that's it. They get game over.
Mm.
So just go listen to the podcast and look at that podcast seriously, because it has a lot of information about that story. And so I'll go into the some stats, because those are
Okay.
things that we need to also focus on. So now, ICE detention has reached a record of 69,000 people who have been held in 200 detention facilities, and these facilities, by the way, are privately owned. So somebody's
Mhm.
making profit out of it. And MJ, yeah, he's been known to own those things.
Mm.
Yeah. In 2025, arrests out of the local jails and other lockups rose to more than 500 on average, and
Mhm.
the current administration has pressured ICE to escalate community raids to reach roughly 3,000 arrests per day
Mm.
in mid 2025.
Mhm.
Essentially, this is where now it becomes an issue of arrests. You can't make those arrests, and at times people you cannot. It's like you're doing it's like it, these numbers cannot you cannot say you're going to go out there and arrest 3,000 people in a whole day, because
Right.
when those
That's
things go
crazy.
down, maybe the first 10 days or first 10 months you might make it, but after that,
Mhm.
people adjust. People are not crazy. So the federal government sent roughly 2,000 federal agents to Minneapolis, St. Paul area for what ICE calls the largest immigration operation ever,
Mhm.
including door-to-door actions and large workplace raids, with a particular impact on Somali and other immigrant communities.
Mm.
So yeah, Minnesota, they're after them for that. And
Mhm.
now, let's get something clear. It's not all Somalis are the ones who are doing this. It's just a minor few that are into this thing. And then now it's politicized. And what's interesting to know, the head of that group that did all that
Mhm.
is a white lady. So why are you not talking about the head of the one who started orchestrating the top is a white lady? Then now all these others followed. But that does not have to say much about that. But now you're targeting a community and going after a community and calling them names, whereas these are
Mhm.
people you go around with and you break bread with, and then something even you help each other in that community. Um, these stats that we're showing, that I've read right now, really paint a low picture of what I, as an immigrant, looked up as America. But what I know is one thing about America is their laws, and the laws are there to be followed. So we've
Right.
seen them go in, and we've seen some resistance, and even though it looks like people are failing because of what is being shown. Remember, what you watch online may not be what's necessary on the ground, because
Hmm.
we talked about this black Twitter, right? Remember the black Twitter option, where you have regular Twitter, black Twitter. All these things have two different components, and you have to see the right thing. So all along, things may be different from what you see. So I'm going to say there are good things coming up, and hopefully we are able to persevere, and everybody stays in their lane, and we stay in our place.
Right. Yeah, it's just really disheartening. A lot of the stories that have been coming up in like a lot of the feeds I just saw a really disturbing video. I think I shared it. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but a lot of people don't feel safe. You know, they see these agents running up and down the streets and approaching people really aggressively, and people are just scared. And I think it's important. This next section that we'll have you kind of start off about what people can do to if they sure were to encounter ICE. I mean, the main thing is knowing your rights and being safe. You know, we don't want any additional folks to be harmed or lose their life behind this. So,
Oh, I talked a lot. Um,
oh well, I can start it off. Yeah, I just definitely want to get your input. But I know it's heavy.
I'll
This
give you
is
an
a
input. Sure.
heavy, heavy topic. But okay, so to start off with, what people can do if you were to encounter ICE, and this information comes from the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. We do want to emphasize that this is not legal advice, but just general advice. We did do some research here, and we're sharing that with you guys. We encourage individuals, listeners, to connect with local advocates. If you feel strongly about it and want to get involved, we do have some information to share about what you can do to get involved later. Also, so core rights in many situations. So all the people in the U.S., regardless of their immigration status, have certain constitutional rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. So that is, something to remember, that you do have the right to remain silent. They should be reading people their rights anyway. I know lately, is that happening from what you that they're like giving people some sort of Miranda, Miranda, or any kind of rights, informing people of their rights?
The only thing they can, unless they can see if you're in a car and they can reach into your car, they'll break your window.
Right.
If they're like, if you're in a truck, I've seen another one when they're in a trailer truck, so you're up there, they can't get to you. So they can't start clamoring over a truck, so you're safe. So it depends on where you are.
Mm. Okay. And then this also goes on to share that you do not have to open the door for ICE unless they have a valid judicial warrant signed by a judge. ICE administrative warrants often
This
labeled I-20. Uh huh.
is actually what is very, very important. Yeah, it's labeled
Yeah.
I-200 or I-205. That will not allow them to enter your home. So if you're
Oh,
a person who is like you're being sought out after, or you feel you're unsafe, you don't even have to answer. You don't even go to the window. Just
okay.
keep quiet and just chill. They cannot come in by force, because now if they come in by force, they're violating. But they'll go ahead and start saying their own things. But they cannot do that, because most of the times people blow whistles to let them know
Mm-hmm.
that they're around. And I want to mention something like in New Orleans, they tried that and it didn't work. Um, I think I wonder how they did it, but the way they went in, it's like they were prepared and the businesses knew what to do. And I think the reception they got was cold. And
Mhm.
most businesses made sure that they told them you cannot enter. We have the right. You have the right to serve anyone, but somehow the way they covered New Orleans is they really stopped them well to the point that they did not stay there for long. I
Mhm.
remember one of these incidents where this lady had to run home, and she was a citizen. She had to run home because they were trying to catch her. And this is a young girl. Like, dude,
Mhm.
what are you trying to do? Even if it's you had to meet the quota, maybe it was 29999, so you got to get that
Wow.
1,000. But all in all, I didn't I kind of like the way they did it. But here's what I'm going to say before we continue. Like people, yeah, people do not generally have to answer questions about their immigration status,
Mhm.
where they were born, or how they entered the country, and remain silent. Is silence remaining silent is often safer than guessing or providing incorrect information. Good.
Right, right, right.
Now, here's what they will do. Um, on the last one, I was going to talk about some effects on them as people, to
Mhm.
kind of highlight on them on in a way because Um, I'll start off by this before I get into the not asking questions. When you blow those whistles and you have people shouting at you, they get nervous. They get into this frenzy, especially now, like imagine you are in this tough situation where you are not sure what is going to happen to you. You're on the edge and your experience is heightened. Your blood pressure rises. Most of
Mhm.
these people, and that whistle, when they start blowing the whistle, it's going to affect them in the long run. It's not going to be like right now, but
Mhm.
if there's a study being done, they'll find out that this will have an effect on the ICE agents who get to hear that whistle being blown over and over and over again, being put on
Mhm.
edge. And this is a job that you have to do. Whether you're doing for 8 hours, imagine people are just screaming at you, and then you're there. You have to stand, and it gets you. You're human. You're not built
Right.
for that.
Sure. Right.
So that's one of the things that I'm sure later on, some of them will be having problems, and it's so unfortunate that they have to be put under such duress. Um, the other thing is when you say do not answer questions about the people should not answer questions about their immigration status. Well, they have figured out way around, which is wrong because
Mhm.
they are invading your privacy. If you ever look at these videos, you always notice someone with a phone and then try to get your face. So they have a
Mhm.
scanning device that they scan your face and then goes to the database. They pull up your database, and then once they pull up the database, it tells them a face recognition, like the way you go into the airport and stuff like that. They do have that. So that's what they use now to be able to
Mhm.
capture your face. So you may go and say, "Look, I'm not giving you anything. I'm locking my door," but you'll see somebody struggling with their phone to get your face.
Right,
And
right.
they're looking for your face, and then the thing will scan it, and then they go back and they're like, yeah, he's in status, so they'll leave you alone and walk away. So and you
Oh.
might notice some of the time the people know their status, and when they come after them, they're like, no, I ain't gonna do nothing, blah blah blah. They go off on them and go. They're like, yeah, these people are really on, but he did not give his information, he did not do anything. No, but if you look carefully, somebody will walk around, they'll be struggling with that cell phone in your face. But that
Mhm.
invasion of privacy that I think they're trying to, there probably is a law,
It's like the thing at the airport, right? That when
they
you
have to ask you permission. When you go to the airport, you are already consented to them taking your,
okay.
this one, they forcefully, not forcefully, but they are, without your permission, they are
Right.
looking for you and scanning.
That's right. That's right.
So there's an
Wow.
equivalent of somebody just seeing, okay, Jen, imagine you walking down the street or you're stopping somewhere, and then somebody comes in with a cell phone in your face, and then they
Right.
scan you. They say, okay, you're good. Duh. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's something that they claim they don't do it, But if you look at the videos, it's there. So I'm sure there's a lawsuit coming in.
Oh, I'm sure.
But before we go, we have somebody online here. Joseph Greer the third has joined us in, and he said, "Hey, welcome to the show. Um, welcome to join in. And if you have anything, questions, go ahead and ask. Comments, we're ready to receive."
Yes,
All right.
welcome. And
So
shout out to the other platforms you said you got us on TikTok. Is that right?
yeah, guys have joined in. They come in
Mm.
and go, and we've had a lot of engagement here. People have come in. I can't say the names because they keep coming in and they're joining in
Oh,
and
okay.
in. Yeah, and with TikTok, it's people who are out there are trying to find something good to watch. So we appreciate you guys for joining in. And like I said, we're on YouTube, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Facebook.
All right. Well, there's some additional what to know if you encounter. These ones are like specifically at being at home. Well, actually, this one, did you want to?
They say if you're at home, if the agents say they're from ICE, it is usually safer not to open the door and ask them to slide a warrant. I think the thing is just don't answer. Just no,
Okay.
nah, don't say anything. Don't show signs that you're there. Somebody knocks, they say who they are. If then it's not somebody that you know, and nowadays people have ring cameras.
Right.
So if you do have a ring camera and you see the person, or you have a people and you see the person is not who you're expecting, no, don't open the door. Don't do anything. Don't even look out the window. Just done. Because one, if there's no sign of somebody staying there and you break into the house, now you become like a thief. What's there to stop you? And they cannot arrest you if they break into your house. That's one thing they cannot do. I mean, if
Okay.
you have situations where people don't have a warrant, like the feds, there's some. I've heard the story of feds broke into a house,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, whatever, or no warrant. They broke in, and the first thing they saw was money sitting over there. They couldn't take that money because they were sued. They were told you got in there without permission. So whatever you saw, you didn't see it.
Right. And I think what's happening is that these ICE agents are coming up on people's doors because you're seeing a lot of videos where people going back and forth through the door and they got their phones out, but they want to get you to come out at least to the doorstep, to the porch or whatever. And I think like once you're out, then they can bum rush you or whatever like that.
Yeah. If they can, yeah. Or if they
Or
can hear
scan you, you
house,
know.
if they hear somebody inside the house, that's one thing.
Hmm.
So, like, so if you're in your house and Jenna shout and say, "Don't open the door," you know, you're not allowed to you're not allowed to talk to them. Somebody, I've seen somebody shout like that. First, they cannot
Oh,
they cannot be for sure that there's somebody in the house. That's one. Two, you keep quiet.
okay.
You don't. They don't know. So don't don't try and justify it. Whether you, and for me it's the same, whether I have
Hmm.
paperwork or not. Personally, I am not going to try. You tell me
Hmm.
ICE is coming to look for somebody, I'm not opening that door. For what?
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. And you do not have to consent to a search of your body, belongings, your phone.
But you see, again, they'll always come. That cell phone will
Yeah.
definitely do the whole trick. So that's the way of getting around it. It's the cell phone scan of your face and do your scanning. And once they do that, they already found the information. So you can tell them, look, I'm not giving you my passport. I'm not giving you anything. I'm not giving you whatever. They'll be like, yeah, it's okay. You can go.
Right.
You're not part of that 3,000 quarter that they're looking for.
Oh gosh. Yikes. Yikes,
Yeah,
yikes,
but
yikes.
it's I mean, there are legal challenges. Most of the cities have been challenging them, and I think is it Michigan.
Mhm.
Michigan did. They got moved out. They got pushed out, and Chicago, Illinois pushed them out. Uh,
Mhm.
so they just went to court. Most of the things you just deal with them in court. The only thing that I find so weird is the one that had an incident with the fatal shooting just last week in was it Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in Minnesota they had a fatal shooting, and instead of
Yes.
withdrawing, they actually sent more people this week. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
in that kind of situation, wouldn't you just tone back and keep quiet? But there's a rhetoric that is being sold to the people,
Right.
and I'm just hoping for the best. I mean, it's our country, but these times are hard.
Yeah, it's disheartening, and people are really concerned. I saw some fearful posts, especially people who live in that city where they had the fatal shooting. So people are really concerned.
Yeah, yeah. And, and it's worse. The worst thing is, it, you may be clean, you may be having all this, but you could be taken out and disappear, and nobody knows you. Um, I was listening to NPR, and the
Mhm.
stories that you get about the people of how they were picked up. So when they pick you up, this is according to an NPR story that I read. When they pick you up, they take you to the facility, and once they take you to the facility, you don't have no phone, cell phone, so you just disappear. So you expect to reach home, but you don't get home. Now you have a phone, you have your phone is put away, you have your belongings, nobody's told where you are, so you just left for work and never came back home. When you're in the facility, they coerce you and tell you, and actually some of them are being told, hey, you know what, if you want to make this call to talk to your people, you got to sign this. Now if they don't understand, they will sign. But what they do is they keep you there until you get tired.
Mhm.
So they'll be like, look, you want to go home, right? Yeah, just sign the paperwork, and we let you go, and you go home, we'll give you the phone, you call them. But let me tell you, as soon as you sign that paperwork states that you have voluntarily agreed to leave the country. And as soon as you sign that paperwork down, you gone to Mexico. This guy happened to be done the same way.
Oh,
Taken
wow.
to Mexico, at that time they have a case going on here.
Mhm.
So now you're the mother to this guy. Never done anything wrong. Never had
Mhm.
anything. All he did was just go to work, come back. Case is pending, waiting to be resolved. Guy was sent all the way back home, and then he got his cell phone when he reached home. So now
Mhm.
he's going home, telling them, "Hey, where are you? I'm in Mexico. But 5 days ago you were here." But there's
Right.
some people who are like, you know what? Yeah, you're gonna keep me here for as long as you want to, but I ain't signing that document. I ain't gonna sign it. And
Wow.
we'll sit here for the whole year. So
Mhm.
it's just the intimidation tactics that they're allegedly using to get these people to sign off and go and be taken home. So there's that issue, and it's a mess. Immigration is a problem. I know it's a
Mhm.
problem, but then the way it's been handled is, I think, in my view,
Mhm.
put in a realm where now we start hating each other,
Mhm.
whereby immigration is what brings a lot of people here, and um, it's what makes America what it is.
Mhm.
Um, some of the people, if you look at the big tech companies and look at the people who may be helping the big tech companies to run or come up with ideas, they're sourced from outside. You'll get the Chinese people, you get the people from India, you get the people from Africa
Mhm.
in, and they come in, put their work, and they get into these programs, and they actually help in making some of these innovative technologies that we see over here. But right
Mhm.
now, with what they're doing, uh, making it harder, or making sort of harder, or pushing people out, there's going to be a shift, because one way or the other, these people are going to take their education over to the European Union and anywhere else, the Scandinavian countries. Okay, we're looking at fine. There's something about research. America is very good on research. That part they are excellent.
Mhm.
But all it takes is just people to learn what the thing is. There's somebody who's out there learning. They just have to take it to Europe and have that
Mhm.
mindset of that we are trying to be the best. Once they get into that mindset and start doing that, I can tell you for a fact, shifting will move to Europe and everyone will start going to Europe, and the US will not be an attractive place to come. You could even find places like Brazil or the South American countries, people actually going there just because of that fact that there's
Mm.
knowledge being spent there. And guess what will happen? We'll have Americans move from here looking for that knowledge and going out to Brazil, go to Canada, run all the way to Europe
Right.
because we're not an island. People have to interact in some shape or form. That's what makes humanity great and what it is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's an interesting topic to get into when you talk about immigration, and I would kind of get more into it. We can have laughs about it. I mean, there's stories about immigration that you can sit and chat. But the problem with this is now is not a time that you can share, some interesting stories because it's really disheartening. At some point, I'm hoping it changes in the near future. But look, like they said, the sun will always rise from the east and set in the west every single day. So there's going to be a change at some point.
True, and people may want to know what they could do to get involved. We have a few things to share
Oh
from the
yeah,
research. I'll share a few on the list here. So you can support local immigrant rights organizations that run rapid response hotlines, court accompaniment, and know your rights training. So they actually have trainings on knowing your rights with these local immigrant right organizations. And really, I know I've seen, they protest here. I've seen it in probably all of you guys' cities. People are, getting involved with activism and showing their support for people impacted by this. Another thing on the list is to pressure local officials to not to collaborate with ICE beyond what is legally required. So this means your mayors and sheriffs and school boards. That's something that's on the list here. So you may
it
or may not be.
depends. It depends on which city you're in, because some cities,
Mhm.
and then you also get pushback. And right now, when you support these local immigrant rights organizations that run rapid response hotlines, what do they call you? I think now they have this thing where is it they call you a fascist movement or it's something they label.
Oh, okay.
Right. So as much as you might go try to help with this, I mean, they um they they will come after you and calling you, is it a fascist? And they're saying that they're now is it now labeled as a militant group or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, definitely want to proceed with caution on these things. I mean, just informing, yourself and your family and knowing your rights so that you can behave or not behave, but handle yourself, appropriately to be safe if you were to encounter, I think is the main thing. But, some people may want to get involved. You've done some activism in your day, so I know
And
how
let
it
me tell
goes.
you, Jen, things have changed so much to the point where, and again, I was listening to NPR, where
Mhm.
the kids cannot go for summer programs because they're scared their parents might be picked up. So they would go to these places and put newspapers all around the building so the kids
Mhm.
can come for summer school and be in there. And they're told how to behave when ice comes. They're given whistles. They're told
Mhm.
they couldn't even say which where this place was because of the fact that they might. come after them. But
Right, right.
you're looking at a situation. I'm a child. I'm growing up here in this country, and I'm forced to live like it's essentially like living like an animal, and you have stress. You're going to be stressed out, and then you have the fear that your parents might be picked out and taken away. I mean, even for a child
Mhm.
to having to experience that, and they grow up. This is where you get now people coming back after the country when they're growing older. Because how do you create a terrorist? How do you create a person? How do you create a movement that's anti-American? It's these things that you hear. Oh, a bomb has they went and bombed a city. They're looking for a particular person of interest.
Mhm.
Okay? You bomb the city, the house that the person is supposed to be at, but he probably has a family of with kids. Maybe
Right.
four kids were not. Some people, maybe two of the kids may be out or may survive.
Mm.
Think that they'll survive liking the people who did that, and they get picked up by these movements, and then they start, they go into this world where they hate a particular nation for doing what they did. So
Mhm.
we just have to be careful with what we're doing. It may look on the surface that yes, it is right of what you're doing, but it can be done another way. I think the way it
That's
was
true.
done before was much more um, was much more better
Mhm.
done. Fine, there were issues on the border. We got sorted. It got sorted out. Even with Biden, he came and put a clamp on it.
Mhm.
When you move it to how it's being done now, I mean, the repercussions are not that good. But we can continue
True.
and say, yeah, we can, like you said, we can pressure our local officials like the mayor, sheriffs, school boards, not to collaborate with ICE. But
Right.
it's a hefty change. The city of Dallas,
Mhm.
but at first, come out and say the police chief for Dallas was like, "Heck no, I don't want ICE coming around here. They're gonna disrupt the people." And he did it quietly. He did not even say anything, but he had wanted them not to show up, and they came. They approached him. They gave him a hefty sum of money. Guess what? The city council of Dallas did. They were like, "Hey, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. That much money? And you said no? Hold up. We got to talk about
Oh,
this."
okay.
You see, so there's that money element, and so somehow they are being spotted now hanging around with the police, and
Mhm.
videos are coming up. So now it's been question like, okay, what are you doing, right? Because again, you have to note another thing, people. Whenever ICE come to your area, and then they have to be accompanied by your local police. First of all, they erode your faith in your local police, because these people will leave, and then leave the police here. The mentality you have for the police will definitely change. Two, the resources are going to be moved to them. So instead of helping you, the resources are now going to help to make sure that they do their job. So your city is
Mhm.
going to get money, but at what cost?
Mm.
Another thing which is interesting is they were saying this morning on CNN in Minnesota. So people, when they see masked people coming, because remember, you're supposed to show yourself. There's no reason why you're masking yourself.
Right.
And I'll tell you this: in the UK, in the United Kingdom, even when they come after you, well, they don't have those kind of issues. The police are just like you are. You can see them. They don't carry guns. They carry these sticks, small sticks. I think about 12 inches. That's it.
Mhm.
Now, when they come in to arrest you, they'll come in to arrest you. They'll tell you you're arresting you. They'll put your cuffs on you. By the way, uh, no guns.
Mhm.
But if you resist and they have to call for reinforcement, bruh, you ain't gonna like it. So you
Mm.
see, they've cultivated that idea of being a policeman is the person that is friendly to you. So now
Mhm.
imagine in Minnesota when they see police who are masked, they call not the police, they call the ICE. When they see ICE coming to a house and they're masked, they call,
Right.
hey, there's a masked man coming around here. We don't know who it is. So they're jamming the 911 calls all over. So
Okay.
it's like 911 is being jammed for those type of jobs, whereas
Mhm.
those type of responses, whereas their response should have been, oh, there's a fire, there's something happening, there's an accident here. But now you're seeing masked people and you're scared. You
Right.
have every right to call. You have every right. They can't say that you have no right to call. You're masked. I don't know who you are. And you're walking down the street. Who
Right.
tried that in a regular neighborhood, walk masked in some of these neighborhoods? What's the first
Mhm.
thing? They'll call the cops. Okay, so
Right.
what does that make a difference when you're walking in a different another neighborhood?
Mhm.
Like I say, same difference. So yeah,
Okay. That's a lot. So, I mean, we, just kind of want to get a high level. I mean, like you said, it's a lot of things to tackle here, but we did want to, share and talk about this since it's been so much going on. So,
I think we've just touched on a lot of the things here and there. And
mhm,
if it's something specific, if our audience want us to kind of research on something specific, they can tell us, and then we can go ahead and look at something specific that they want us to research on, and then give them feedback on it. And maybe that will be able to help, because today it's a mix of so many things happening. But
right.
at least you get the gist of things.
For sure, for sure. So, with that, we will conclude. Any other final thoughts?
Pecha kucha. I'll see you this weekend. That's all I can say. I mean, that's the best thing that ever can ever happen. And I'm ready to meet some new people. Not some new people. I'm ready to meet the old people that I know at Podfest, and ready to meet some new people as
Mhm.
well. And yeah, I'll come back with good news, and we'll be here.
Okay, well, we wish Sambaza well as he prepares to present at the 2026 Podfest in the Pecha Kucha presentation. And you may say, what is that? What is that? Look it up. Look
Oh,
it
by the
up
way,
now.
somebody watching. She's called Rosemary. She's on Clubhouse. Thank you, Rosemary, for hanging in there. You're welcome anytime. We usually do this on Wednesdays, but today it's been special because I have to travel. But Wednesdays,
Yeah.
we usually are up here.
Yes, so Sambaza is getting ready to hit the road and hit the stage. So, yay, positive vibes to Sambaza as he
Good vibes
goes.
here, heading out. So,
All
Jen,
right.
take us home.
All right, guys. So we thank you for joining us and hope that today's conversation has inspired and enlightened you. If you found today's show meaningful, please consider sharing it with friends and family, colleagues. Our collective awareness and advocacy play a crucial role in creating positive change. We invite you to stay tuned for more engaging content, and we look forward to continuing these important conversations in the future. And with that, again, we thank you for being a part of the show. And until next time, take care.
All right. Bye bye, people.